Hello and welcome to Sweetcast. I'm Clint, and welcome to episode 2 of. Am I calling it Scribbles and Scripts or Scripts and Scribbles? I forget the order. Welcome. We've got a few guests here today. A returning champion, Macho Dan.
Everybody, I can hear all your applause out there in the
chat. We've got Gateway into Comics also returning.
Hey, everyone.
And then we have Pocket Jacks Comics. Welcome.
Hello.
Great. So the format today is going to be a little bit different than what we did last time, and that's because everybody's working on a project, and I thought it would be nice if we could pitch what we're working on, I guess. So we didn't decide an order here. Who wants to fight for first? This will be the winning spot, I can tell.
Oh, the winning spot. Well, I should go ahead. No, I'm just playing. Somebody else go.
I kind of have something long-winded. Is that cool?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of ridiculous how long-winded I think some of this will be, but I'm going to try to kind of keep this down as much as possible. So, I definitely have a pitch for my first story that I'm putting into comics, and this is kind of the most important one because it's the most emotional, and I think it's the one. And when I say emotional, I guess I mean it grips the audience emotionally from across the board. From what my friends have told me, a few people, and I've only really given it to people to analyze who have. I hate to say it, but have been in literature for years and years, and they say yes, this is emotionally gripping across the board, and so it's kind of a strange topic, and so I will never actually touch the topic of what's underlying in this story, within the story itself, but behind the scenes, I'll kind of tell you some background about it. Which actually has nothing to do with the emotional story itself. So I'm really big into the futurist community. And if you don't know what that is, I'm really into this one author. His name is Ray Kurzweil. The dude is fantastic. So kind of what his premise is that he has a very positive outlook on the future of artificial intelligence and what it will do to society and how it will advance medical technology and all the way across the board to interface with machines. And of course, this is so funny because we've seen, so many different things like iRobot, The Matrix, opposite, that these things are like dangerous. I think it'll actually progress society to such a huge, and I hate to use the word utopian, but it will change things to a dramatic level. And of course and I love talking about this, by the way, so much to the point to where I'm into the futurist community that I have actually I've gone all in. So I committed to the Cryonics Institute, and I've actually put money into that. And I know that it's kind of, like I said, who believe that it's possible to extend our lives 1,000 years into the. So kind of the premise of my entire story that I'm working on is kind of
Is everyone hearing Chase? It sounds like he's cutting out.
I'm not. He's cutting out a little bit, yeah. I was getting ready to change my bandwidth. I thought it was me.
he may have been he
was cryogenically frozen too early. Yes. No.
You there, Chase?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Did I
You cut out a little bit.
Are you thing here?
Okay,
while I'm talking, is it cutting out still?
It'll cut out, like you'll start a sentence and then leave us hanging, and then start another sentence and leave us hanging.
Try to fix that. Be right back.
Okay, let's move on while Chase gets that figured out. Then, thanks for your patience, everyone. okay, I'm gonna give a little introduction here for Pocket Jacks Comics.
Sure.
So I did a video on actually a couple of your books, and something that impressed me with your crowdfunding campaigns is that you really know how to pitch the story.
Well, thank you.
So if your pitch is ready, I'd love to hear it because
Yeah.
I would like to take notes.
All right. So, Queen Charlotte follows the sister of Marie Antoinette as she uses her ruthless guile and her seductive nature to manipulate world events against the French, led by Napoleon, to exact revenge for the death of her sister.
Wow, that's intense, man.
So in tone, I'm thinking Playboy magazine, you know, kind of dangerous liaisons with like a supernatural bent. And in Playboy magazine, you're buying it for the boobs, but you also come back for the articles, right? There's this kind of there's this educated quality about it. So that's what I want to do. I want to take history, real world events, because Marie Antoinette had a sister. She was the Queen of Naples, and she got really pissed off after her sister got beheaded. And then she conspired, and she was very sexual, to manipulate world events to turn against the French. And so I want to follow her. And, you know, I want this to be an adult comic, tastefully done. Like I said, we're going Playboy style here. But, you know, with the 1700s style with like the boobs out and the corsets, it shouldn't be too hard. But she seduced another woman, Emma Hamilton, and used her and her connections to bring the English into alliance with Naples. And she was also a Habsburg and kind of her native of Austria, to build this coalition against Napoleon. And I'm going to add a supernatural bent by having her have this kind of magic taught to her by her mother of, you know, this kind of Habsburg magic of spirits, that she can commune with her sister as a ghost and kind of tell her that she's going to exact revenge against the French led by their evil Napoleon. And we're going to follow her. I've mapped out the plot for issue 1, but that's just kind of the overall pitch for the story. So what do we think so far?
Very cool.
Man, it sounds kind of I don't want to say Game of Thrones, but it's kind of that what's the like family against family or like I don't know, like kind of behind the scenes back and forth. I don't know. It sounds pretty cool. It sounds intense. That's the first word that came to my mind.
Yeah, I've been wrestling with this story for like a couple of years.
Wow.
And, in terms of screenplay, and I could never get a screenplay that people were like, yeah, yes, that's what. Every time I'd hand it off to someone, they would come back and go, "This is a series." So
yeah. It seems like very intricate. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, because it's like not espionage, but like you know, it's kind of I'm trying to think of the right word for it. It sounds cool. It sounds really cool.
Thank you.
I love that you do historical fictions too, because personally I love historical fiction, and you don't see it done very often, or it's very like unexciting. But yours seem really like, yeah, the Divinity Factory. You've got like magic in it. You've got, I don't know. They sound really intense. I think you have really good ideas.
I love using history in whatever I'm doing. I was talking about that last week, but you're taking it to a different level that I haven't been able to get to before. But it sounds cool. I love when you can take real world things or real world you know, stuff that you can find, facts and figures, and you can twist them and put them into like a supernatural world or something like that. That's probably one of my favorite tools to use when I'm writing, is throw something in there that's actually a true statement or a fact or whatever. And it just makes the comic it makes it feel a little bit more real, or a little bit more, I don't know, tangible maybe.
All right, cool. You want to hear the proposed plot of the first issue?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool. So we're going to open with King Ferdinand, who was the king of Naples, and in comes the prime minister, who's a guy named John Acton. And John Acton is, you know, asking to, you know, see the queen, Charlotte, or Maria Carolina is her more formal name. And the king is like, no, she's been bereft ever since she discovered the death of her sister. And then we're going to go into a flashback where Charlotte is having sex with John Acton, who, by the way, we already now know is not her husband. That's like the prime minister. And the king, meanwhile, has received the letter of the death of her sister, and she's knocking on the door of the queen's bedroom chamber. So we're kind of establishing that Queen Marilyn is just openly cuckolding her husband, the king, and he's like, "Dear, there's something you need to know," and she's just like angry, like, "I'm busy, leave it, go away," and she's like, "It's about your sister." And then there's this, because she was really bonded to her sister. So once she finds out that her sister is dead, she just falls into this deep depression. And so then we're going to come back from the flashback. And then, Ferdinand's like, "I'm sorry, she will see no one, not even you." And he's like, "Well, if you would please tell her." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah." And so then, Ferdinand, after a while, he goes to her, and she's in kind of her private chambers where she's now kind of enacted this, kind of Doctor Strange magic circle, and she's communing with the spirits. She's done this kind of astral projection, and she's talking with her sister, the ghost Marie Antoinette, and she's making promises that she will get revenge, that she's going to turn, the French people and make them rue the day that they ever overthrow the rightful Queen of France. And the husband comes in, and he's trying to say, "Well, what's happened," and see if she wants any food, because she hasn't eaten in days. And she's like, "Oh no, I suppose I should get something." So she comes out, and then in comes Emma Hamilton, who, by the way, at the time historically was considered the most beautiful woman alive. So you can imagine how we're going to draw her, right? And Charlotte looks at her, and she sees, oh wait, that's the wife of the British ambassador, and in her head forms this plan. And she's like, I think I may want to talk to her. I may be feeling better after all. And that is kind of closes in on the end of our first issue, where she's kind of concocting her plan to exact revenge against the French.
Very cool.
Dang, cool, man.
Like that.
Yeah.
Dan, let's hear what you got.
All right, so I'll preface by saying that I currently have an Indiegogo project going on. It's called Hero Blood of Patriots, and I have about 30 hours left. I'll tell you, everybody up front, that we are well short of our goal, so we're not going to make it. But I have an announcement that I'm going to make a little bit later. I just talked about it on a live stream I did right before I came on here with Clint. So I'll tell you guys a little bit of that announcement a little bit later. But I'll give you the pitch right now. So Hero, it's set in a kind of an alternate reality. And what's going on is Russia has pretty much taken over. Russia is surrounding the United States. They're literally knocking at our door. They're at our borders. And they're the communist army, right? Like they've started to slowly take over. We're in trouble, and we need to figure out what we're going to do to get out of this. So
what's the time period?
What's that?
What's the time period?
So it's kind of current time period, just alternate reality. But we have a couple twists on what has happened. Who was in charge? Like presidents that didn't get elected, and we've changed some of that, so that's why it's an alternate reality. Anyway, so we're at war with Russia, and it's bad. The United States is losing. Our boys and girls are dying out there every single day, and we can't seem to win. Both countries are kind of at a, they're not willing to go nuclear yet, but it's getting to that point that it may happen. And so what the U.S. has done is they've stolen away a scientist. His name's Dr. Krupin, and he has started the research into the black science of reanimation, so bringing a body back to life. And he's doing that. He's a biomechanical genius, and he's designed this. It's like a little robot backpack, basically, and he's called it Hero. The military started this project, but he perfects it with the help of another doctor that he's working with. And Hero stands for Hardware Integrated Reanimation Ordnance. And what happens is the little robot guy, Hero, he attaches to a deceased soldier. He brings that soldier back to life. And the cool thing and the twist of the story is that it's not Universal Soldier. It's not RoboCop. It's not Frankenstein. It is the machine and the man. The machine is able to kind of get the memories and the I always say, like, the residue of the human that was, and he learns. So he becomes self-aware, and he becomes able to make decisions for himself like a human would because of these emotions and this residue that he gets. So Hero, he can go from one body to another body. He's going to have to, because bodies decompose, right? Zombies don't stay fresh forever. So so he's going to move from body to body. He's going to learn more about each successive person and learn more about what it means to be human, even though he's not. So it's a little Pinocchio. It's a little Captain America, and it's a little Frankenstein. Ultimately, we're looking to make just a big gun military band of brothers sci-fi undead super soldier action comic. We're looking to put a lot of action, a lot of fight, a lot of just, you know, in your face stuff in this book. And it's gonna be 48 pages, and it's gonna be full color, super high quality print. We're going as high quality as we possibly can. And so yeah, that's it.
Very cool. Yeah. I really like the concept of like, you got to go get another body.
Yeah,
for it to work. That's
yeah.
I didn't think about that. That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, if Hero's fighting and he's getting shot up, I mean, he's gonna start losing fluids and things and body parts or whatever. Like you can't walk around on the stump legs forever. You're gonna have to find another one. So that's what happens. And like I said, ultimately when the backpack Hero is attached to the human, they are kind of one. It's like a little bit of a symbiotic relationship. And we thought it would be kind of neat to see, it's ultimately a story about sacrifice. It's a story about learning what it means to be human, but it's packaged in this crazy, giant, awesome like action comic. So it's going to be awesome. I think we're going to relaunch in April. We have we know a lot of things that we did wrong this time, and we know what we're going to do to make them better. And we're really fired up to do it. So this is a killer experience to do Indiegogo and meet all you guys and meet all of our fans. We have some incredible backers and incredible fans. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. I've got to say hi to all these people in chat. I'm sorry. I'm still learning about live streams. And I'm not very good
at
it.
So go for it.
Gonna get better. So Kitty Riot, welcome. Kitty Riot says neat. Sorry, I said she. I'm not gonna assume anyone's gender. Kitty Riot says neat. I'm doing my own comic too. It's a strange one, not close to being done though. Yeah, the struggle is real. Cody Dean, welcome. He says what's up, Sweetcast. And then we have Muttman, the famous. He says Hero is hardware integration reanimation ordinance. Pitch sounds nice. Yeah, it does. I agree.
He's just saying that because he's my co-creator.
That always helps.
Yeah,
it does.
He's the artist on the book. And I will point out, I hope everyone, is my screen being shared?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Because I didn't do any drawing last time, I'm going to try it out, and I'm using a tablet, the one where you have to draw on it and then look at the screen. It's really hard. But yeah, it's my turn, so I'm going to be working on that.
Cool. So why don't you pitch us your book?
Yeah.
Can you do that yet?
Yeah, I haven't pitched it yet. Well, I mean, I've talked about it a lot on my channel. So yeah, here it goes. So the story is called Downcast. It's about a brother and sister duo who live and work as blue collar, low bottom rung citizens in a city in the sky. So imagine Venice, Italy, but 30,000 feet in the air. So you've got flying vehicles, all that kind of stuff, and they work as window washers, and they hang off the side of buildings. And yeah, it's the worst job you can have. So the thing that keeps the city up in the sky is a piece of the sun, or so the stories say. So when they're cleaning the Capitol building, they receive this by happenstance. I won't give it all away, I guess. They get this piece of the sun, and now they have suddenly the power, as long as they have that piece, to control the gravity, the temperature, wind, humidity, moisture, all that kind of stuff. And these are all of the sort of elements that you need the everything has to be in place in order for the city to stay up where it's at. So yeah, the story is about power and corruption. Basically, there's a corrupt government that would normally run and be in charge of this kind of thing, and then there's an evil sort of cult that's trying to take the power as well. So this brother and sister duo end up with the power, with this piece of the sun, and yeah, it's up to them to decide what they're going to do with that kind of power. Are they going to use it for bad and for selfish reasons, like to free their father out of prison, or are they going to use it to, fight crime or rule in a good way? So that's a very long-winded and sort of meandering pitch. So I need to work it out, but I'm really excited about it.
Nice, man. That's cool.
Yeah, and like I've had like my artist is like, so this is like steampunk, right? And I'm like, well, I mean, they're flying car. Like to me, I pictured things a little different, like radio punk, but that's not really a thing. Like more
Make it a
modern,
thing, man. That's what you should do. Yeah.
right? I'm like 80s technology, you know.
Ooh, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. So we'll
Radio
see.
punk.
Like the aesthetics. I'm not the artist. So
Yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
I'm gonna let my artist give me a lot of input there.
That's
So,
cool, man. All right.
Chase, I can't see, but are you there?
No,
Doesn't sound like it.
doesn't sound like it.
That's unfortunate. Well, we can move on to writing questions. I am curious, how do you guys get ideas for your stories?
Oh, hold on one second. Am I here?
Oh,
Oh, he's
Chase
back.
is in.
Fantastic. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
That is great. So I switched over to my cell phone because apparently my computer is hating me today. That's fine. I can live with that. If as long as you can you hear me still?
You sound good. Yeah.
Hey, that's fantastic. I had no idea that I could do this on my cell phone. Otherwise, I guess I'd been doing this all along. Fantastic. I'm just going to go ahead with the pitch from actually my favorite story that I've ever written in my entire life.
All right.
So this is all about a young boy, and I named this Adam for a reason, because this really is the first step in another direction for mankind. And this kid, he's been treated as an outsider, bullied. I guess you'd kind of say, kind of like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Cyclops, and Storm and Iceman and every single X-Man, and most stories actually have this kind of theme. Think about, if you will, one of the best stories ever made, the Never-Ending Story. The kid was
Yeah.
bullied just like that. I mean, that was one of the best films ever made when you
Atreyu.
think. Oh yeah, I'm telling you. And you know, he was bullied like that, Adam was, and he doesn't realize how special he is, just like so many of these stories, until he's thrust into another world against his will, where he's able to fly. He's able to command powers at his own will. And there are no heroes in this world. There are no heroes, but there are people looking to use each other. And he's the only person that can step forward as a hero because he's the only person that has that power. And when I say thrust into another world, I think it was fantastic. What I heard out of the corner of my ear, someone talking about astral projection. And that's exactly what, fantastic. That's exactly what happens to Adam. And it takes a very interesting direction because once he leaves his body, he really does believe that that's the path that he's taking, until he finds out something very specific about himself very early on in the book, in fact. And so I'll give that up here. He finds out that he's not human. And so the very thing that made him be treated as an outsider came to fruition in the very beginning. He realized, I am not like anyone else. I am different than those that I walk among. And it changes everything
for him, he realizes that these people are hackers, and they are literally tapping into this kind of outside stream of consciousness that is electric, that flows through everything. Kind of think about the Force, only think about the Force as applying it to another dimension, just like you would feel an astral projection leaving your body. Only these people are doing it in real life. And I'm not going to give too much away. I could talk about this book all day. I think I'm going to stop right there, because any further, I think that's like maybe a fifth into the very first floppy. I'm just giving up the very first few pages. So I think I'm going to stop there.
So are you planning on doing a campaign for this, or?
Absolutely. Yes,
Okay.
I'm absolutely. In fact, I'm planning. I don't want to launch before December of next year, in fact, because
Wow.
I want to take my time. And when I say to take my time, I really, really, really want to make sure that I'm going to take my time.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying writing it, and I'm actually, I would have to say, I'm probably almost done. And I'm probably ready to start looking for an artist, but I'm so intent on the fact that I really need to take my time on this more than I think other people do. I've never played with comics before. I've written all my life. I've written probably about 14 to 15 short stories. Most of them were horrible. Most of them were really freaking bad. And it wasn't until later, until recently, that I've started looking at them, and I've been like, this is really good. And when I look at other people's stuff, I'm very critical of it. I burn comics on my I mean, I'm very critical of people's stuff. I burn comics, you know. So I set myself to a high standard, and everybody else as well. And I got to tell you, and I know I'm kind of going on here, but I'm kind of scared to critique the Comicsgate books. I don't know what y'all think about that.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's dangerous territory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad
Yeah.
that y'all understand that.
Absolutely dangerous territory.
It's tough because like by principle, I believe that you should be just as critical. You should.
You should.
But yeah, there's definitely like this unspoken pressure
Yeah.
to not be critical.
No.
So I did see Professor Geek did a review of Iron Sights.
Yes, me too.
He was incredibly fair, but he was also honest too, like about some of the flaws with the writing and with the art. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah. And of course it was a recommend because it's Mike S. Miller, you know.
Iron Sights
Iron Sights was
with Richard.
sad.
Oh, sorry. I don't know why. I think you're breaking up a lot right now. Hold on. I'm so sorry.
You're good. Yeah, maybe thinking about Lone Star. Yeah. I'm like, what's the book? Lone Star. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like I just, I haven't critiqued anything. I'm outspoken about the things I really like, and I guess that you could take from me. If you know what I've been backing, then you probably know what I like.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and that's I do not do reviews. I will talk about comics, but I don't do reviews, and mainly because I feel like there's so many people that are doing a much better job with reviews than I do.
Oh yeah. It's a hard place to get into, and you really have to, I feel like you really need to believe not that you don't believe what you're saying, but if you're gonna give a critique, you need to know how to defend your critique very well. And if you don't, then it's gonna make you look really bad because people want you to be genuine, and if you're not able to back up what you're saying with your genuine argument, it's just not gonna translate well, I think.
Right. Yeah. And there's a lot of people are good at it. Zach is so good at identifying little things that I'm like,
Mm.
oh, I notice once he says it, I totally notice it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm not quite that good.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting closer to the fact that uh, I I know this sounds terrible. I don't like to critique mediocre comics or comics that are good even. I really, really want to focus on comics that are perfect or really terrible.
Well, everything in between is not quite as interesting, right?
Yeah. Right.
I guess that's it. I guess that's it.
I'm going to look at chat again, touch base with chat. 3D Robin. Hey, thank you, 3D Robin. I've got to say, everybody that has been giving me compliments on the little intro I've been doing on my latest videos, that's all 3D. I'm not that cool, but 3D Robin is that cool.
Nice.
And he says you should be as critical as you would any book. Being Comicsgate shouldn't be a pass, just be constructive rather than destructive. That is a great point.
Yep. Yep.
It is. Yeah, I agree.
And that's even with like script reviews, I've been getting a lot of people sending me scripts, and honestly, like I just been busy. But the last thing I want to do is just say, "Oh, your script looks great," and move
Right.
on, because that's not what I want. You know, I want some critical review.
Yeah.
I'm this is a little heads up for everybody, I guess, too. Tomorrow, I'm going to be releasing a video, and I'll have instructions on how to get one of my novels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I published it in 2013, and I read over it, and it's got some problems.
So is this the one you're really embarrassed about?
No. That one, I'm sure you could find it somewhere, but it's not available to buy.
Okay.
Yeah, that was awful. This one, it's presentable, but every time you do some writing and you look back at it, it's like, man, I suck at a dialogue, or
Yeah. It's
after
hard.
it's been a few years. So, comics has definitely made me better with dialogue because it's so important.
You read? Yep.
So yeah, so I'm going to be putting it out there and encouraging people to give me feedback, and they're welcome to roast it if they'd like to. But yeah, I think that's important. Not to mention, I could point out a lot of things I could do better. So,
hey, on that note, and yes, I'm really looking forward to that. And as far as dialogue goes,
Yeah.
a book that I would really recommend. And it's different. It's I say it's advanced. It's not necessarily advanced. It's outside the box. It's Spunk and Bite by I'm gonna kill this name, Arthur Plotnick.
We losing them again.
Oh, I can hear him.
Oh,
Arthur.
there we
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Sorry, I messed up, guys. That was my bad.
Oh, you're totally good. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's a writer's guide to bold contemporary style. It helped me with comics. I kid you not. And it wasn't suggested to me by someone in comics. It was suggested to me in someone from someone who does there's a very interesting subculture going on. I don't know. I know y'all know what trolls
Furries?
are. Furries. Please do not get me started on furries. I'm serious. I'm not okay with that counterculture. That is not, I'm not comfortable with it. In fact, if you don't subscribe to Mr. Medicare, I think it would be a good idea because he really uncovers some dark things. He was kind of like the beginning of Gamergate, if you will. And he just recently, in the past 3 months, uncovered some very dark things about furries. I'm not going to say anything else about that, but this book is fantastic.
This is a family stream. Come on.
Yeah, right.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. And this book, Spunk and Bite, is really good, and it helped me with comics. It helped me with my dialogue. So,
Nice.
Very
plug. I don't even know who this guy is, but his book was great. I don't know.
And yeah, then that's storytelling. Like it's not all that different. Like, okay, so for comics, you have a very specific set of tools at your disposal. Same with writing just novels, prose fiction, same with screenplays. But storytelling really isn't all that different. I'm sure, yeah, Pocket Jack's Comics, you said you've written some screenplays, right? I'm sure you could kind of speak to that. What are, I guess, some of the storytelling elements that are really easy to cross over?
I mean, what I like about going from screenplays to comics is if I have a big emotional scene, I can literally make it big. Like I can do splash page or 2-page spread if there's a scene that I really want to hammer home. Whereas, you know, you can't really change the size of the movie screen or, you know, the viewing screen. So you have to come up with some kind of, you know, cinematic technique, and then people get annoyed at you because now you're being the cinematographer. So I like that you can, you know, as writer and creator, or really just as writer, you have the ability to make moments a lot bigger in comics than you do in screenplays by changing how, you know, the literal size of it. So that's cool.
Yeah.
It is hard to do, you know, like one continuous motion of like an expression or a reaction or something, of like looking, noticing, you know, like small movements, looking, noticing, picking something up, pondering it, looking over here and talking to somebody, like something that would be really easy. And, you know, I ran into this in White Lily where, you know, like Katya's entering a dogfight and she's freaked out by how many enemy planes there are whizzing about her. She, you know, looks over, you know, she's pulling back on the throttle. She's watching as Lilia pulls away from her, and she's thinking, like, how on earth can this woman do that and not, you know, worry for her life at all? And, you know, when you're writing it in a screenplay, you know, that's like one block of text, you know, 2 or 3 lines and some dialogue. But when it's in a comic, I'm like, well, damn, how am I going to do that? I got like one panel maybe to show the enemy planes. Am I going to then go to her cockpit where I'm just having her pull back on the throttle? And then there's like the statement, and then, you know, there's Lilia's reaction in the other. It becomes really challenging to work with in a comic medium. So that's,
yeah, no, absolutely. The like, for me, a lot of times I'll write a lot, and then I get the word bubbles. Like Muddle put the word bubbles in, you know, the space given. Right. And you have to kind of redo it sometimes. And you have to, like, I'll have Thesaurus open on my computer all day long because I'll need to find words that are different sizes maybe, or just like, or be creative with how you're getting that idea across. But I think that's what I like about writing is I can't draw very well, but I think that I'm all right with the writing thing. And I try to, yeah, I just, it's a challenge. It's a puzzle. Like anything else, and it's a lot of fun. I think it's one of my favorite parts, actually.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. It is a puzzle.
Yeah,
and so yeah, I don't know. Like I'm actually struggling with that right now. With I'm trying to make these first 5 pages. I just keep going back to them over and over because that's like the most important thing.
right.
And yeah, it definitely is, because there's certain bits of information that you have to convey in the first 5 pages, first page, but at the same time you don't want to bore people with, you know,
too much exposition. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really hard. I think, like, so we have a 0 issue for our book that we put out for free download, and we used that to get some of the exposition out of the way, and it kind of cheated us a little bit for the full book that we're going to do. It's because we have that already, it's done. But there is, I think, if you do it right, and I really do think, like, I would welcome anybody's feedback or criticism about our book. Please, like, we want to learn as much as we can. But I think if I can be conceited for a few minutes, I think we did a really good job of getting the plot, the science, and the exposition out of the way without too much. And it's a writer-artist relationship. Like, if you're writer and artist, it's super tough. But when you have 2 people, a lot of times, like, Mutt knows way more about the visual things and how to tell the story visually than I do. And so when we work together, we just mesh really well, and we're able to get that story out without too much, with being able to keep the word count down, and with being able to move the story through the pages. It's 16 pages, And it sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot. It's so small.
Yeah. I'll take a look at it.
That'd be great. Yeah, I would appreciate it. It's it's on Indiegogo, Hero Blood of Patriots. But yeah, yeah.
I've got a problem. This is changing gears. I forgot how to draw a nose, and I screwed this thing up so badly. I am getting rid of the whole nose. I'm going to try this again. I'm like, wait, nose holes. Where that is that the bottom of the nose right there? No, lower, right there.
Clint, I can draw stick figures.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong guys.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
we're stick
I was
figure
sitting
guys.
here. I was sitting here doodling while you guys were talking, and I drew a spaceman.
Yeah.
Sitting in space.
Now, one thing that here, I'll go ahead and show you guys. And I engage my camera. But one thing that I had to balance, or at least think about, which I never had to think about when I was working on just a screenplay, is the working with splash pages and whatnot, is like selling them at shows. So I got these metal trading cards, and that's like the cover, Guinevere and the Divinity Factory. But I also have like that's like the final page, which I have up on Indiegogo. But I have a lot of splash pages, and they look really good when they're on these metallic cards. And then people like to buy them as prints and whatnot. And so, having done a number of comic shows when I was writing up the script for it, I'm like, well, I'm going to write this so that it can be most easily monetized. So that's why I just went crazy with the splash pages. Not to mention I had so many, so many talented artists anyway. So that was something I never really had to balance or even think about when I was working on screenplays.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. But my guiding philosophy for Guinevere and the Divinity Factory was I wanted it to be as close to like a picture book, which was connected with plot elements as I could get it. Like I really wanted the art to be first and foremost, and kind of the writing and the plot to just be there in the background to kind of give you. I wanted you to feel like you had just enough plot to justify why the next page was there.
I like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very cool.
Hey, Clint, like I know you're going to keep us to a pretty hard 45 minutes. So before you close it down, can I quickly make a quick announcement about our campaign and the thing I've been kind of hiding behind?
Yes, please do.
Okay, cool. So I appreciate you letting me talk about it, and I'll try to make it quick for those of you who don't care. But so what we're doing is we have like 30 hours left on our campaign, and we know we're not going to get funded. So what we've decided to do is that for our campaign in April, when we relaunch, we're going to have what we call OBs, or original backers. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, everyone who has already backed us up until the point that our campaign closes in 30 hours or whatever, I'm going to save your email, and I'm going to save just your name. I'm not saving any personal information. And what I'm going to do is if you back us again, if you decide that you like us enough to put money down a second time, obviously you're getting, everybody that's backed already is getting fully refunded. It's not a flex campaign. Everybody, 100% of the funds is going back. But if you decide you want to put your money up again and back us, we're going to have a secret perk. We're going to send it out to everybody who's previously backed, and it's only going to be for you guys that have already put money down for the first time. And what you're going to get, Mutt and I have talked about it, we're going to, for whatever tier you purchase, if you buy one book, you're going to get another book for free. There's no charge. We're going to give it to you for free because you backed us the first time. And then we're also going to do some sort of kind of personalized art. We had talked about custom, like printing out some bookmarks with our hero logo, and then do a space to do like a sketch on it, or maybe like an ashcan sketch cover. And for anybody who's backed us already, once again, you're going to get a second issue. If you get one issue, you'll get an extra. If you get two issues, you get an extra issue. You can give it away or whatever. And yeah, so that's kind of our thing. We're calling it the OBs, or the original backers of our program, and that's what we want to do. So you got 30 hours. We know we're not going to make the campaign, but if you put your money down, you'll get it back in like 2 or 3 days from Indiegogo, and you have the original backer status. So yeah, share it out. Tell everybody. We'd love to have you guys second go around if you're willing.
Very cool. Yeah, I think that can only help. You build some momentum next time. get it in like day one. Get
Yeah,
funded.
and
That would
I
be
mean,
awesome.
Mutt's just saying, he says we love our backers, and so we're trying to really, give back something to the people that cared enough to think about this much about us the first time. So yeah,
Great.
that's the plan.
Great. Alterna Comics is in the house. Hello, Alterna Comics. It's a
What's
pleasure.
up, Alterna? Yeah.
Somebody asked, no super chat yet. No, YouTube has not seen fit to monetize me just yet.
Can I say this real quick?
Yes.
Just because Alterna Comics is here, I made a shift in my paradigm recently. I am a gateway into comics, and I made the decision. The comic. So I have 3 shops close to my house, and I really want to focus on this one shop because of his attitude toward comics.
Yeah.
And he told me specifically, he said, "Hey, I don't carry them yet, but I'd love to hear about it." And in fact, he said, I have, I kind of crossed a line in a sense, but I asked him, I said, "Does political affiliation bother you?" And he said, "No, it doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I would like to create an environment where it doesn't matter at all." And so I said, I would really like to only subscribe to my pull box being Alterna Comics plus just these 2 other titles, one from DC and one from Marvel. And that's my pull box now. I just wanted them to know that. And not only that, but I want everyone else, all the viewers, everyone who can see this, to know how much it matters that customer service is a thing, and it's affected me so much, and that's how I will guide my practice forward when I launch my Indiegogo and when I try to latch on to a company. In fact, I would like my first it doesn't matter, customer service matters. Peter Smitty's great, and that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I've been so impressed. I just made a video about Alterna this week, but yeah, they're great. Peter is like a great human being, but also like he's doing a lot of things that I think, man, like this is exactly what I wish bigger publishers would be doing. So yeah, they're awesome. I don't want to forget everybody. Pitch what they need. Pocket Jack Comics. You've got a comic up right now.
I do, yeah. I got 4 days left on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. We have met our goal, so this is a go. It's for Guinevere and the Divinity Factory. If you want, I can show you some of the art in like screen share mode. But it's a great project. I invested a lot. When you see the artwork, you're going to be very impressed. I went out and got the best artists I could possibly find. You can put this comic book down next to Spider-Man or Batman and it'll hold its own. I think you'd be very impressed with it.
That is no exaggeration. That art is beautiful. Both line art and colors. It's gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah, so everybody, like it's still up. You can still get some right now on Indiegogo. Guinevere in the Divinity Factory. Heroes coming up again soon for round 2.
Right.
Look out for Gateway.
The pitch for that, by the way, is combining elements of Harry Potter and The Great Gatsby. Guinevere, an apprentice wizard, has to approach her master, who gives her a quest, which sets her out into the world. So, there you go.
Great. That's the pitch. I'm like, man, that's a great pitch.
Yeah.
I need one that is that streamlined and gives you a vivid image just right off the bat like that. So I'm going to work on it.
Yeah, you got to have your quick, just straight up like 10-second thing, your 30-second, your full on elevator. Yep.
That's I've got to work on those. Anyway, everybody, thank you for watching Scribbles and Scripts. I hope you enjoyed my scribbles. I think next week we're going to try it again. I might have to be a little spotty after that. But yeah, thanks everyone, and I will see you next time.